So I think it's going to be an interesting budget for us to look out for from an indirect tax standpoint. I think, as we all are aware, we've just been in the backdrop of the most important reform of GST. So the first budget after GST, I'm going to be curious to see what the government really has, what kind of announcements they have to make, because no longer will we have technical announcements around excise and service tax. Of course, for the past period, probably yes. So the budget is going to be pretty much a focus on the customs front, and that's something that we need to look out for. The customs set of changes is likely to revolve around Make in India. It's been an important pet project of the government, and rightly so, because that results in significant employment and significant advantages to the economy. What we do expect is that certain reductions in the rates on the components, probably increased in the rate of some of the finished products, to incentivize companies to actually set up shop in India. And what's actually interesting to note is that the government has not necessarily waited for the budget to be the event as in the past for making some announcements. We've seen in just a couple of days, a few days ago, that there have been some announcements that have increased the rates, say, on some electronic goods. So will the budget therefore have nothing on Make in India? I don't think so. Probably it'll have something more. But I think the focus will be to see what kind of changes they could make to get in more investment on the manufacturing space. The excise and service tax is unlikely to have obviously any fresh announcements, because those taxes are no longer there per se, but we do have the past taxes and adjudication that has to be taken care, because the government can go back 5 years. So I do expect some sort of announcement like an amnesty or guidance in terms of expedited approach of the government to clear past assessments and audits, because the government would also like to clear that and now stay focused on GST going forward. So that's my expectation on the service tax and excise side. Coming to the last point on GST, will there be GST announcement in this budget? It's important to recap that GST is no longer a central government law. It's administered by the states and the center. There's a formal GST council that takes legal decisions. The central government is one of the most important stakeholders, but not the only party that can decide a change. So in the budget, will there be GST announcements in great depth? Probably not, but I think the central government, being one of the largest stakeholders in the GST council, would like to report to the public at large and the central government and the parliament as to how has the progress been, what is the general short to medium term vision. So I would think more policy announcements in terms of directional announcements than specifics on GST in this budget. But all in all, the budget exercise is no longer going to be a very big indirect tax expectations and an indirect tax announcement based exercise. And I think this one is going to be a critical one for us to know for the years to come, how is the budget going to look like on the indirect tax space.